Hello and welcome, Wonderful Adventures. This is a tutorial where we're making a puzzle game similar to this. So let's get started. So as you may see, we have a new button here, and this is going to be, obviously, a part of our AI. So we have a help button, and we're going to ask the AI to give us some clues and let us know where some available pieces to move are located on the level. So let's check it out and see what happens. By the time this video is released, uh, the full project should be available on the GitHub page, as well as a demo version of the game on Android. And I may post a link for a Windows version on my itch page. That's still up in the air. I haven't really decided 100% on that yet. But let's say most likely to be true. So here, like I said, this is going, AI check game over is basically a function that we call for Boolean. And remember how to do that and what that's useful for, to be able to wait the function a little bit or be able to do something in the function later if the boolean is returned or the variable of the return is adequate for whatever you're looking to do. So I added a new variable, and it's just help amount, and that's obvious to the button. So I'm just giving them a limited amount of times to ask for help for each level. So now let's get to the AI. If we scroll down here real quick, let me shut that down. Okay, so we have here AI check game over. This is our return function. And I have a couple of things in here just automatically set. We're gonna put some things inside here. We're gonna do an infamous for loop, as we love doing so much here. And I have this function that we'll check against. We'll use these two functions to check here to find a match. And if this returns true, then we'll highlight or pass on. If it returns false, then this would end the game. Or if it's in help, then because our help and game over is going to be essentially the exact same thing. The only difference is AI help will show you the pieces where game over is going to actually end the game. So I'll get into this a little bit more here in a little bit, but I just wanted to go over this. When the game is over and the player presses retry, it will load the level just like normal. And we'll reset a couple of variables to make sure everything looks like it's supposed to look when the game starts. And we can just hide all this stuff from an await. I put the await after the hide because I want to go ahead and hide it quickly afterwards and then make it animate the cells, which probably should put this one first. No, we'll put it after, because as soon as this changes levels, and if this is called first, it's going to call our one boolean check move. It's going to make that true, and we'll set this to false afterwards, and that way in the transition it will not allow the player to use input. So we want to make sure that is just snuffed out in that way. We won't need to do any more to this, so I'm just going to block this down. And for AI help button, that's when I was pressing the button. It's just going to call for our AI help. So let's get started with this one here. And what we want to do first is for tile and get used cells layer 0. So we're going to call it here like this because this basically will automatically say that the tile is valid that we're grabbing. We don't have to check and see if the tile that we're grabbing is valid. So now we can just go ahead and say var match source ID. You know what that does? Is type int and then equals get cell source ID 0. Right. So then the next one, we're going to have one called move ders, and this is going to be an array. It will equal left left, right, up, and down. Okay? So now, what are we going to do? Another for loop. First, let me get to the end of this and go down. I'll stretch this out a little bit so we can see what's happening a little better. It helps me out. So, for, let's say, dir and move dirs. And we're gonna maybe, we're gonna make some variables in here like match, let's say matching array, this type array, and default, we'll start it out. And we'll also have we'll make another array called tile dir array. Type it, and I'm going to leave it absolutely blank here, and sometimes I'll do that just to allow the variable to be initialized, basically. So I'm going to do one more. See here, let's say temp start, and we already can guess what this could be, a vector 2 I, and I'm going to leave this one blank as well. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to match dir, and if dir is vector 2 I dot left, well, when we have it immediately, we'll say we'll let, so we have temp start is completely blank. We'll say temp start now actually equals something, and it's going to equal the tile plus a vector 2I dot left. And what this does is add our tile. Basically, it's not adding, it's saying that our tile is, so we want to check over here, and or let's say give a centerpiece for something, and we're checking in this tile here. Well, when we check this tile, we need to actually kind of, per se, will sudo move our piece over. So we need to make something reference where our piece is going to actually be moved if it was moved. So that's what this is doing. Our temp start is immediately saying it's moved and it's going to be in that position over there that we're going to be checking. And we want to make sure that after that, if get cell, we want to get the data. We want to make sure that the data is there in this one, because this could be a blank space, right? So we want to make sure that we get it in the temp start. And if that's true, then we'll say the empty tile direction array, now it has a value. And its value is going to equal we're just going to tell it what moves it has available to do. A vector 2i left, it can go left, it can go right. No, it can't go right if it's going left. But it can go up and it can go down. So when you move the piece to the left, if you're moving over, we don't want to check back in the same spot, because really that will give us a tile there, because we're only pseudo moving it. And anyways, we don't need to check over there, because we're only going to check if one tile moves. We're not worried about any other tiles. We're only worried about the tile that we're actually in question of. So if that tile can move, and if we do the checks, we'll check this way, and we'll check this way, and we'll check this way. So it can only go check 2. We'll just only need to check 2 down, and we'll only need to check 2 up, and we'll only need to check 2 over. Because anything past that means if we get a match with these anyways, we have a match. So we need them to move at least to this amount anyways, so we can have a match. Once we confirm a match, we can immediately, if we're using help, we can immediately set that piece to be highlighted and say that this piece is a match. If the game is running as a game over AI, checking to see if there's available pieces, we can immediately either shuffle the game or just call game over if once it checks all the pieces, not just the first piece. So we want to make sure that we check through all the pieces for at least for the game over. I'm doing it also for the AI help, but you can do it specifically. You would have to do a much more advanced algorithm if you wanted to do it for checking like which piece would offer the most points. You would definitely have to use a more evolved algorithm. All I'm simply doing is just checking to see if there's some available matching pieces. So we don't want to check to the right if we're moving to the left. We don't want to check down if we're moving up in all of the directions. So let's go back to the code. Now, you also know how I feel about copying and what happens when we copy. But if we do it slow, should be able to accomplish it correctly. So the next one will be right. And we'll change this to right. And we'll also change this one to right. And now this one will be up. We'll make this up. And we'll make down right, because we can't go down when we go up. And for down, change all these. And we can't go up when we're going down, so we go right. And that's how we make that work for us there. So Next, what I want to do is I'm going to stay inside this loop. So now we're going to utilize our tile dirt array. So we'll say uh, for check direction dir in our tile dir array. Now I want to add a variable here. I'm just going to call it count, and it's type int, and it equals 1. And I'll show you what this really does for us. Well, I'll explain what it really does for us. So first, let me just say if get cell, let me see, what are we doing? Source ID. We need to get cell source ID 0. Temp start plus, put this in parentheses just to try to force it to use this times count is equal to source match source ID. If it's equal to match source ID, then we're going to say we're going to use our matching array dot pin temp start plus parentheses check dir plus count or times count. So the same thing as before. So what we look at here is if we was to let me see, let me go actually I meant to add another loop here for I in 2, but I want this to cycle through twice because remember I want to check both tiles in these directions. So if in each of those tiles by the count are equal to that, then we'll add it to the matching array. And the reason why I'm not using I in this case, and that's what I was going to explain, is the reason why I'm not using I in this place is because if you use I, you just think of this as, like I say, you kind of can say it's an array. I would be good for using this in an array because what I is checking is the amount of what this number is. So this number is 2. And what it actually is going to do is I'm going to look basically on the first line, or what is the first number on the number line. And what is the first number on the number line? It's not 1, it's actually 0. So it grabs 0 and represents the first variable as 0. And then the next variable in this 2 would be 1. So 0, 1 is what you would get. And we don't need 0, 1, we need 1, 2. So that's the reason why I use the count there instead of using our I as the function. So we'll add count every time it cycles through the loop. So make sure you do that. Count plus equal 1. Then we'll jump out of this loop here, all the way out, We'll say if matching array dot size is greater than 0, if match array, then we give it the array, or the temp start first and our matching array. And if it's true, we'll return out of this false. And so basically, like I said, our next function, our AI help, is exactly the same as this, except for after here, we're just going to highlight the individual sprite. So let's copy this here. We're saying that if, oh, yeah. So here, we'll say, what's our favorite thing to do? Is child. Invisible tile spaces dot find temp start. And actually not temp start, it's actually tile here. Okay, so let's take a look at this in depth again, just so you can get a full understanding. So when we call this here, we're giving it a start check position. So we're giving it our default position, and then we're going to check if the array has the default position plus 1 plus 2, right? So we got 1 and 2 from our default position. And we check left, we check right, up, and down for 2. We also check for single tiles if just 1 is left and 1 is right. Say we move it down and there's a tile on the left and a tile on the right that matches, we want that. But say we move it to the left and there's a tile up or a tile down that matches, or I should say a tile up and down matches, that's why we have and, then we return true. And every time we return true, that means we're just going to highlight it. And if we return true to our AI check the game, as soon as we return true one time from there, it will automatically say that everything's okay and we can play the game. But if it returns false, which means none of these return true, then it's going to automatically show our game over. And that's how we're going to take care of that. So now let's try it out and see what it looks like, see if we made everything correctly. Let's try now, see. Let all of this cycle through. Okay, so push the help button, and you can see we got help for this. We have help for this. We have help for this. We have help for this one. And this one can move down as well. Can't move there, there. And that looks like that would be it. let's play and see if we can actually get a game over. And that's the reason why I kind of chose this level here, because the design of it, it's pretty hard as long as I can lose before. Sometimes I've actually won the levels, so it doesn't work out the way that I want. So I don't know. I tried to make it as hard as possible, other than just filling every tile up with every other tile with just blank spaces. I don't think it's gonna really. It's doable, and just hope that it just cycles through the right way and ends the game for us. So what I try to do really is get anything from the bottom first, just to gradually make everything at least fall, and hopefully I catch everything. And let's see. Now we get game over. So, and let's just check to make sure we can hide this menu from our remote. And we'll go in here and see, just scan over everything. And I don't see any matches, do you? Huh? I can't hear you. Speak up a little bit, please. Oh, okay, you don't either. But I did notice that our help value didn't go down earlier when I pressed it. Seems like it should. Let's try it again just to see if the variable goes down. Yeah, I don't see here. Oh, I see what's going on. It's not going down because I'm silly and I didn't put this in there. Now, let's see it go down. And try after C. And that's it, guys. So I'm going to leave a lot of the artistic things up to you, and we'll hopefully see what you produce. So check out my end version when this video is released. It should be released, like I said, on Google Play and as well as Windows on my itch page. So don't forget to share and like this if you like it, and subscribe, as well as share your games with me that you've made from this. Show me your artistic abilities that you made with this game, because I'm gonna change a lot of things in the final version on my end. So you'll see something that's a little bit well, not a lot of things, but you'll see something a little bit different from your version to my version, because I'm going to make it uniquely mine, and you can make it uniquely yours. So good luck, and I hope to see you in the next video where we can tackle something else. I'm not sure what the following tutorials are going to be about from this video, but I'm certain there's going to be a lot more. So stay tuned, and hope to see you then.